Let's get to the other part of the Cavs weekend moves after a reminder that Monarch Money is the financial friend you didn't know you needed until right now. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all of your accounts, investments, and spendings in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. The other move the Cavs made was re-signing Sam Merrill. 4 years, $38 million for Sam Merrill. That comes out to $9.5 million per year. He is now the highest paid 60th draft pick ever in the history of the NBA. With this move, it seems unlikely that Ty Jerome will be coming back to the Cavs. The roster spots and the money just don't seem to add up. So, Jason, are you surprised at the contract the Cavs gave Sam Merrill and at the idea that they may have chosen Merrill over Ty Jerome?
A little bit. I think the focus shifted probably after the playoffs. There was a point where I think Ty was their top priority, and based on how the postseason went and price tags and what Sam cost them, I think Sam came in under what they were projecting Ty was going to run them. And when you factor in the penalties that come with it and everything else, and they prioritized Sam's shooting over Ty's overall playmaking. And, I think we all sort of agreed that it felt like Ty got exposed maybe a little bit in the playoffs because he was asked to play a role that he wasn't fit for. That he is best as a sixth man, and when you ask him to carry a heavier load, it just wasn't there. The game just wasn't there. Sam will fill a specific need of shooting. He's a three-point shooter. He is capable of doing other things, but that's really what you want him on the floor for. If he's out there to shoot. And he's a guy that I look at as, man, good on him. You talk about sticking with it and hanging in through adversity and beaten, cut, and waived, and bouncing around to multiple different organizations, and just sort of paying your dues, and now cashing in on this contract. It's a huge win for him, and the Cavs know what they're getting from him, and he'll fill a role going forward as a three-point shooter, just as he has been.
You know what, Sam Merrill? Shout out to you being part of that championship summer league squad. When I saw you, big dog, I said, hold on, we got some guys down here. What are you talking about? Sam Merrill pulls up. I like this guy. He has no conscience. I think Sam Merrill got paid. I know he can shoot the ball, but Sam Merrill played hard defensively. Sam Merrill was not Sam Merrill would get switched on to somebody, and he was not a pushover. I said, okay, Sam, I see what you – now, you still can't dribble. That's why we still got Lonzo Ball. You're not part of the dribbling squad. But you know what? I'm kind of torn about Ty Jerome because he had a hell of a regular season. I mean, at times Ty Jerome was the talk of the town. At times Ty Jerome looked like he was a dude that really was like, I'm like, is this guy a borderline starter? I mean, he came in, I think, third in the sixth man of the year.
Correct.
He would have got more of those votes if it wasn't for Hunter, who took half the votes from him. But I just feel like Ty Jerome almost priced himself out of the Cavs mix. You just look at I think Merrill got, 30-something million?
38 from Merrill.
I think Ty Jerome gonna mess around, and because it's slim pickings out here, it ain't that many guys, free agents that's out here available that can put up the numbers that he's putting on. I think he might get 50 something million dollars because somebody gonna pay him. I think he priced himself out of the Cavs thing. I don't think it has too much to do with. Yeah, he had some bad games in the playoffs, and I even said, bro, it looked like you unplayable. Like, I think he was like 10 for 10. Like, he had one game where he was like 8 for 20 something. He shot the ball like crazy terrible this postseason. But I will say I'm kind of torn because I do believe that he showed himself to be a playmaker. He showed himself to be a guy that can hit big shots. I mean, at times during the regular season when everybody else wasn't doing that, he was the guy that came in and sparked them and put some of them games on ice. So it sucks that, they might not be able to keep him, but I like Sam Merrill. I like the fact that they got a shooter. I like the fact that I could say that they did develop him because he was in the G League. He went through the process and they found somebody and they signed him. So I like the move.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys on a lot of what you said. Jay, I love stories like this. I applaud stories like this. Sam Merrill was a guy that came in and didn't turn anyone's head.
Yeah.
Was dismissed at every turn. He doesn't have this. He can't do that. You've heard all of the arguments. But the one thing he had that I always liked about him was he has a work ethic and he has effort. And that's free. You don't have to be born with that. You can just work harder than you work. You can want to do better than you normally are doing. And I think here's a guy that did that, and he got his payday. And I'm glad it was with the Cavs. I think he's a good piece. He still has some growing to do, but because he's moved off his starting point, I have more confidence that he'll continue to move because he's been that guy. So if he continues to improve, he could be a piece that really helps the Cavaliers. I have a question for you, Mike. Is Ty Jerome going to get $50 million?
Yeah. So when I first saw that deal,
God.
here let me take you through my thought process. When I saw that tweet go through, I was like,
Oh my.
9 for 38 for Sam. Good for him.
Yeah.
Great dude, earned it. But that feels a lot. And then I saw some of the other contracts for role players. Davion Mitchell in Miami got 2 for 24. By the way, Davion Mitchell, I don't have it in front of me. I think he's on his third team. Has been solid. He had a good playoff series against the Cavs, but that's kind of it. If he's getting $12 million and the non-taxpayer mid-level exception is $14 million, which is about the most the Cavs could have paid.
Right.
And with the second apron, if they paid Ty $14, it would have cost Dan $80 with the tax penalties.
Yeah.
I think he might get more. I do.
Wow.
Like I think he could be in the 16.
Jay said
range.
that I think we all kind of agree that he was kind of exposed in the playoffs, and I agree with some of that sentence, but I take some of the qualifiers out. Like, I would say it this way: I think everyone that watched the playoffs agrees wholeheartedly that he was absolutely exposed in the playoffs, not kind of.
He's a bench player. He's a six-man.
And so if you're going to give a guy like that $50 million, to me, it says we want to rack up those regular season wins. We want to win some regular season games. But how is he serviceable in the postseason?
Well,
after what we saw in the playoffs this year, he looked slow.
You got to pay somebody.
Very unathletic. He was a liability on the floor most of the time.
The Pacers made
a
a lot of guards look like that. In their defense, with the style now, granted, Ty was terrible that series. He was also incredible against Miami, two very different teams. But he had one
Miami
great
was a
playoff
10
series,
seed.
One terrible playoff
Miami's
series.
the kind of that's the kind of team that he'll thrive against.
Do you know? But
you need
really
someone to thrive against teams like Indiana.
Do you know who I think he's going to end up going to and be a really good fit with? And it's kind of funny because their relationship was not good last year.
Who?
I think the Pistons are a really good basketball fit for him. Now, him and JB did not have the same kind of relationship he has with Kenny Atkinson. I'll just leave it at that. But from a basketball standpoint, a team that has money, and with the whole Malik Beasley maybe involved in some gambling issues, and that contract appears to be pulled off the board.
That's a big story, guys.
Yo, I can't believe
he would be a really good fit in Detroit.
I know that it doesn't really move the needle here in Cleveland, but that is a massive story that has been, I think, incredibly underplayed by the national media.
Very slow.
It broke over the weekend. It'll come out.
I know, but I expected to see way more on that.
The allegations were not from this past season, though.
I don't care.
No. I'm just saying he had this great season this year.
Yes.
The allegations were from January of 24.
Yeah, that doesn't matter to me when it was. It was in the gambling era.
They showed clips.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen a lot more of this. I think a lot more of this goes on.
Did you see the clips?
Yes.
Yes, I saw the clips.
When they're down 8, 9, and he sprints down the length of the floor and dunks at the buzzer.
And listen, I'm usually player guy. Come on, there's something going. I'm usually player guy. I looked at it, I said, "Oh, bro,
something happened.
You might want to lawyer up, dog. This is not looking good." He went coast to coast like a little kid at the YMCA to get the buckets.
Had to get those points
because his dad came in from. He finally showed up on a Saturday. Daddy's here. Let me get my finger roll off. I'm like.
Yeah,
this is nasty work.
It's a huge story, man. And I don't know how the league is going to navigate it. It's so funny to me. In the last 20 years, professional sports have gone from absolutely stiff-arming any mention of gambling or point spreads. At ESPN, we were not allowed to say the words, Bulls are favored over the Cavs. We had to say Detroit is favored over Cleveland. Why?
Can I tell you
I don't know.
And they got a sports book
but
now.
there were things that we could not talk about. They hate it when Al Michaels used to talk about, well, that might have been a meaningless field goal on the scoreboard, but trust me, if you know, you know. That made a lot of people and cost a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah.
We were discouraged from ever talking about that. And then Adam Silver came out and broke the paradigm, and he said, why are we stiff-arming the gambling community? Do you realize what that would mean for ratings if we legalize gambling? And the other boys looked at him, baseball and football, were like, you're saying the quiet part out loud. You can't say that.
Well,
and
Jay,
now
on Sunday
watch a
morning,
game. They're all gambling commercials.
Sunday morning, the story broke Saturday. Sunday morning, I was eating breakfast. I had SportsCenter on, and they talked about the Malik Beasley story.
Yeah.
And then we're teasing to break. And it was, and by the way, we have on ESPN Bet, download the
Sure.
sports book, and we have our 7-game parlay for Sunday.
And at some point, it's going to compromise the integrity of the game.
It's already touched baseball and Shohei. Now he was
has.
cleared of it.
Yep.
But
it was there.
It was nasty for
the game's biggest star.
Yep.
But Buddy Hield, somebody hit him up on the bench. Hey,
Oh my gosh, that's right.
I need one more 3.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, put me back in. What?
Boom.
You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that, bro. Porter Jr., the kid from Denver, his brother got banned for
Joe,
life.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Banned for life.
I think
Yeah.
that's part of the reason this hasn't blown up, Jay, is that now it's the second one that's happened. The
Yeah.
Jonte Porter one, had it been a bigger name, I think
I
it
know,
would have
but
blown
Mike,
up even more.
I was stunned at how much under the radar that story went. That did not become a big. And I don't
At
care
all.
if he's a star or not. If you have paid professional athletes that are compromising the integrity of the product, you've got. Remember when Tim Donaghy, was it Tim Donaghy? Was that his
He
name?
told us.
The
He told
NBA
you.
ref.
He told you.
I don't know what happens because it's going to come out where there's a big scandal, where it happens in a playoff series. And now you're determining not just a meaningless regular season game. One team is going to move forward and one team isn't. Think about this. Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was the only member of the White Sox that didn't tank. Like, if you look at what he did in the World Series, he had an incredible World Series. He was punished because there was plenty of evidence that the other guys did tank.
Yeah.
And he just now got his good name back where he can go into the Hall of Fame if voted in by the writers or the Veterans Committee or whoever's going to do it. That's how serious they used to take gambling on sports. Pete Rose was, if the object in baseball is to get a base hit, by that standard, he was the best player ever. And that man never sniffed the Hall of Fame because he got caught betting on the sport. So I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know how it impacts it, but now you can't kill the golden goose because the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball make tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, off gambling commercials.
Now, Tyvis, I know you're upset, but you got to stop calling these investigators because you're losing your parlays, bro. We understand.
Tyvis is the king of a 15-leg parlay.
And the 15-20, and it missed by 1/2 point.
Yeah.
You can't get me an assist. Only one.
Very last point on the Merrill over Jerome decision by the Cavs. I'm just assuming Kobe and company believe the combination of Craig Porter Jr., Tyrese Proctor, who fell to them in the draft, and Lonzo Ball can make up for the production, and they prioritized the spacing Sam Merrill provides offensively.
Maybe they can.
Over a little bit of the extra
I mean,
swing.
they got Merrill for less than they're paying Lonzo Ball.
Yep, that's a good point.
Real quick, do you
9.5
predict
versus 10.
Do you Cavs guys? Do you predict any other moves, small or
I think
small or
something's
major?
coming.
Yes.
Something. Okay.
I do
I do too.
You say, oh.
I think something
And-
big is coming.
Oh, so you just gonna shake your head like that? What you know, Jason? You just I know what you got. You got your beard is longer. When your beard is longer, I know you know something.
We'll see.